Like, honestly, we just need to stop entertaining it because it's Pakistani.
Yeah,
Like, if you're a Pakistani player playing,
yeah.
whether you're playing in Pakistan, outside of Pakistan, I know it might sound really cliche, but really, like, not to give up because, again, I know in Pakistan there will be a lot of times that you'll be told no, or that you cannot do it, or you can't do something. I think something that, I loved growing up, and my mother was actually someone that really always encouraged me to, like, never stop trying. So yeah, I was in the process of representing the UAE, and then next thing you know, Pakistan gets unbanned.
Welcome to a special edition of the Dugout presented by DawnNews English. Today I am with Maria Khan, the Pakistan women's football captain. I am Mustafa Siddiqui. How are you doing today, Maria?
I'm good. How's it going?
Great, great, great. So I wanted to first start off with your footballing journey, right? So like you were obviously of Pakistani descent, but you were born in the US. You played there as a goalkeeper actually first. Then you moved to Saudi. Then you moved to Pakistan. Then you moved to Saudi again, and then you're in currently in Malaysia, right? So can you just walk us through how your footballing journey has been so far?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I grew up in the States, so I was on that US soccer pathway. So I was playing football at a very young age. I think as young as 6 years old, I was playing football. Got into organized football maybe around 12 or so, with like a local team in the neighborhood, and then continued my journey, went on to play D1, and then graduated university in 2013. At the time, the Women's Pro League in the US was really volatile. So one season there was funding for the league, the next season there wasn't. So 2013, I think, was the season where there wasn't funding. And also to have just finished, my degree at the University of Denver, to tell my Daisy parents that I want to go and play professional football after just getting a degree. It wasn't something that probably sat very well. So I went on to continue my education, and that's when I moved to the Middle East. I moved to Dubai to get my MBA. So I was living in Dubai for 13 years, pretty long time. It's still home base. My husband is there. But yeah, so went on to move to the Middle East, played there for some years, then got called up for Pakistan, and signed my first pro contract at 32. And that's when I went to go play in Saudi.
Yeah. So then you played in Saudi for you play your Saudi team was the Royal Eagles, correct?
No, Eastern Flames. Royal
Eastern.
Eagles was the Yeah, Royal Eagles was the team that I played. My first Pakistani club that I played for in
Yeah.
Pakistan in
Yeah.
2018.
When you like compare like how football is structured in the US, in Saudi to what you because you've played in Pakistan as well now, like what's the main differences aside from like obviously some funding from place to place?
Yeah, so removing funding, I think it's about facilities. The US and Saudi obviously have a ton of facilities. The US has pathways, right? So there's structure, there's strategies in place, there's grassroots. Saudi is a country that is taking things on board. They're starting to develop that pathway. They're starting to, focus on grassroots. Pakistan has the population, has the talent pool potential, but I think in terms of facilities and structure, it's something that's currently being worked on, and hopefully we'll see some stuff coming to fruition pretty soon.
Yes, yes. Uh, so a big question I wanted to ask you, right, is that so a lot of our international team are expats, including you, right? And like what people don't understand is right is that like a lot of international teams have expats, like most famously Morocco, who's Africa's most successful team in the last two men's World Cups, right? From your perspective as captain, right? How important has the diaspora been in raising the team's level, and how are those players integrated with the locally based tournaments and players here as well?
Yeah, I think this topic is very silly. Sorry.
I completely agree.
I mean that in the most respectful way possible, but for any country, you want the best players representing your national team. Doesn't matter where they're living at the end of the day. So for our national team, doesn't matter if it's someone in Pakistan, outside of Pakistan, whoever is best suited to represent the country and be rostered for that team is what has happened. So yeah, I think in terms of, roles and responsibilities, everyone in that team has played a critical role and everyone in that team is Pakistani. So yeah, I don't feel the need to entertain this topic any longer with, the media and stuff like that because it's very silly.
Yeah, I completely agree with you because I think it's a very funny, very stupid topic to talk about, especially when every major international team has expats, right? Like every international team has expats. It's maddening to me how this still is becoming still a giant talking point in Pakistan, especially when you have expats also playing for your men's cricket team as well, and it's just like, and there's no problem with them there, but like but suddenly it's a problem when it's women playing football, right? Or women playing sports. It's a very something like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
silly.
yeah,
Very
actually,
silly.
yeah. But like aside from that, like what was like coming into like that decision? Like what made you want to represent Pakistan essentially? Like from that like type of spirit, like, and what was like the process? Like how did they bring you in to the fold?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to represent the UAE because I had, according to FIFA, if you've lived in a country for over 5 years and you haven't
Hmm.
represented another national team at a senior level, and assuming that that country is willing to give you nationality or a passport, then you become eligible. So yeah, I was in the process of representing the UAE, and then next thing you know, Pakistan gets unbanned and yeah, so what ended up happening was Shahrukh Sohail from Football Pakistan reached out to me on social media and said, "Hey, like there's a ban being lifted. Like we'd love to connect you with the normalization committee chairman at the time, as well as Coach Adil, who will be taking the women's team going forward." So yeah, jumped on a call with them, heard them out, and I think for me, just after that call, it was pretty easy decision. I think I knew in my heart, that I did want to represent Pakistan. So I broke the news to the UAE again, who have been very supportive. The past 12 years I've been living there. They've been extremely supportive and have been very inclusive and welcoming me into their women's setup. So yeah, really grateful for the development that I had in the UAE, but also grateful that Coach Adil took the time to say, hey, this is what our plan is. This is what we want to do. We'd like to have you on board, and kind of gave me that space to kind of make the decision for myself, which I appreciated. So
Yeah.
yeah, so then yeah, it was a pretty easy decision after the call.
Yeah. So like you're the captain, of course, right? So was it like more of a decision by the PFF or the coach itself, or did like the team choose you essentially to like be the captain, right? Like what, like, and how would you want your leadership to be represented in the media, and like what would you want to represent essentially as captain?
Yeah, so the way it happened, so I joined the training camp before the SAFF 2022 championship. So I joined the training camp there in Pakistan and was there training with the team. And obviously, that's the first time that Pakistan is going to be participating in a recognized competition after the 8-year ban. So yeah, I just remember Coach Adil, coming to me and asking me like, this is what he thinks is right. He would like to, make me captain, and he wanted to know how I felt about it, and if it's a responsibility that I was willing to take on board. Understanding at the moment, I don't think I understood everything it came with. Um, which I think a lot of people don't, right? So yeah, so I think I really appreciated the way he came to me, asked me how I felt about it, told me why he felt that I was the right person. So yeah, so I appreciated that, and I think for me, I was very quick to say, yeah, I'd be honored, because it is something at the end of the day that is not, it's not a right, it's a huge honor, to be able to do that. And I think for me, I would hope that I have grown as not just a captain but a person as well, playing in the national team and being with the girls and having our team grow as well. I have definitely made mistakes. I've definitely made the wrong calls sometimes that I maybe thought were the right thing to do in that moment, but it maybe wasn't. I'm sure I've upset or some teammates as well along the way, which I think is all part of learning and a person's growth, especially in that role. But in terms of the type of leadership, like I would like to think I protrude, is really focused on empowered leadership. I think that within our team we have people that are really great at certain things on and off the field, and I'd like to think that like I encourage those players, to be able to show their best qualities and not be scared to lead as well. I think at the end of the day, a title only goes so far, and it's really not one person in the
Mhm.
team. It's a collective, and I'm really grateful that I had a great team around me. I had a great coach. Adil is now the TD, but having a great technical staff, coaching staff around me, supporting me, helping me grow, helping me learn as well, holding me accountable, was has been really helpful for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I will also say this, like being a captain for Pakistan in this media environment is always incredibly difficult. We all know this, how especially our men's cricket captains get scrutinized. How do you deal with the scrutiny, right? Which is just like
Yeah,
when people don't even know what they're talking about half the time, right? Because they don't even bother. Because this is a very big problem with our nation, is that they don't even to a certain extent accept women playing sports sometimes, right? Like how and like these people are talking and like basically scrutinizing you for losing or doing something, like how do you deal with that essentially as captain,
yeah.
especially
I think, and again, not even as captain, I think my teammates experience it as well. Like our country and our fans and our communities have the ability to give us the highest of highs, but if something small goes wrong, or there's not a good performance or anything, it's very interesting to see how quickly the tables turn, and how quickly you can be dropped. But again, that's sports, right? it's
yeah.
it's all about us as athletes and our resilience and how we kind of manage these situations. At first, I think, I definitely learned to stay out of the comments. Don't go fishing into the comments. That's something I definitely learned early on, for sure. But yeah, again, like it's something it's part and parcel, right? Like it comes with the game. It comes with representing your country. So again, the fans that understand the game, that follow us closely, that have followed our journey, again, they'll understand things are not always going to go well, and you know a player's journey is never like a straight line
Hmm.
trajectory, right? Like there's always going to be ups and downs, there's always going to be fluctuation. So yeah, it's just something that you kind of learn to navigate, and every player navigates it differently. So for me, it's really about just trying to focus on the football as much as I can, and really limit, um, going fishing for things you don't want to know the answer to sometimes.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Even as someone who is an on-screen personality, it is sometimes best not to look through the comments and
Yeah,
just
just don't stay
it,
away.
stay away. Just like give yourself peace of mind. Give you some peace of mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now a little bit back onto like the Pakistani footballing structure as a whole, right? The team's recent progress has generated renewed optimism, but women's football in Pakistan still faces significant financial challenges, right? How would you describe the level of support available today from the Pakistan Football Federation, from government bodies, and private sponsors? And to what extent do players still have to fund their own training, travel, and development, essentially? Or like, do their clubs also help with that as well? The people who are signed with clubs, of course.
Yeah, it's it's a growing ecosystem, and I think now that we have like a some stability in our federation with a governing body in place, an elected body in place, with us having a president. Now we have a TD as well, so Coach Adil's been given the TD role, which I think is a great step for football in Pakistan, because now you can really start that technical roadmap and that technical strategy. So I do think the federation is doing their best. It's hard right now when you don't have you know other additional funding apart from FIFA coming in. So that's where I think a lot of support from the governing bodies and the government itself really do help. Because what I see in a lot of the other countries I've played in, Vietnam, Malaysia, Saudi. Again, a lot of these countries have that government support, whether
Hmm.
it's for men's football or women's football. But football is really supported in these countries by governments. Also, something that really helps the development is that football is played in the schools, right?
Uh,
So when kids are young and when they're in the grassroots levels, understanding that it's hard for parents to send their kids to training, you know, three days a week, whether it's travel time, travel costs, access, having it in the schools is really helpful. So yeah, so hopefully I think now with kind of like a technical roadmap being built, we have a dedicated women's department, which is great. So yeah, I think all this right steps are being taken by the federation. It's now, the government and the supporting bodies, I think, really need to step up, and not just, again, not just support football, but support other sports apart from cricket because we have very talented athletes across the board in our country. And I think it's such a shame that some athletes have to go outside to train, they have to go outside to develop their talents and stuff like that, which, yeah, it's a
yeah,
madness.
yeah, like the outside thing to like literally, like you have Arshad Nadeem, who became our gold medalist in like our
That's who I
gold
was thinking about.
like
Yeah.
our gold medalist in at the Olympics, right? And he's basically out like a year before like he wins the gold medal. He's literally here begging the Pakistani government to give him just like like 2-3 lakhs, like 2-3 lakh rupees. That's it, right? In the scale of the government budget, it's not that much, right? To get some javelins to actually practice and throw. And I'm just going like, what? Like this should not. It's such a clerical and unethic. Like it's such a huge oversight that this is happening today, right? And especially on the like the school the playing football in schools, right? So like luckily, like, so I have two younger sisters, right? And like they're
Yeah.
both I like they're both sporty. One loves basketball, one was into football. And luckily, like
Nice.
we went to we went to a private school, so they were both we were all brought up in Pakistan. But they were basically like sports was a very big part of it.
Yeah.
But like a lot of these government schools, right? Government schools, or like schools in rural areas, or and there's like a lot of like this. Sincerely, a lot of schools are a lot of children are out of school as well. So like, do you think that is like the actual like that is like the main barrier right now in development of women's sports here in the country?
I think a big thing is culture,
Yeah.
especially in Pakistan, right? It's, trying to normalize that, girls can play sports and it's a safe space. Because I think right now a lot of families obviously have some hesitation because they don't feel like these spaces are safe. So it's how can, the governing body of that sport build trust within the ecosystem that their daughter is going to be in a safe place, she's going to be taken care of, she's going to learn life skills, and all at the same time. She can still be, a good daughter, a good sister, and it's not going to do anything but enhance, her life and her journey as a person developing, or a young girl developing. So, yeah, I think the challenges are twofold, right? It's more than just culture, it's more than funding, it's more than facilities. I think, we really have a long way to go.
Mm,
But at least we're starting, and I think, the federation is doing a good job of, trying to take the right actions and the right steps, to be able to help drive football in the country,
yeah.
especially for girls.
Yeah. So, but like, do you think it's a very big difference in these football environments that you've played in when it comes to women's sports here? Like comparing Pakistan to other like Muslim countries like you played in, like Malaysia is also a Muslim country, Saudi Arabia is also a Muslim country, country, UAE is also a Muslim country. Like compare women's sports there compared to here. How like what is the perspective over there compared to here essentially?
You'd be surprised. It's pretty similar.
Okay.
Um, yeah, you'd be surprised. The challenges that the girls face here, Saudi, UAE, at least the spaces that I've been in, very similar to Pakistan. To where a lot of the families feel, the same way. Like, is my daughter going to be safe? Like, how is this going to contribute to, her as a person, etc. So, yeah, I would definitely say, like, especially in the Muslim countries that I've played in, the challenges. I've had teammates, yeah, who have the same challenges as my teammates in Pakistan.
Yeah. It's just a sad thing about women's sports everywhere you go. As I feel like it's always going to be a continuous issue, right?
Yeah, we just got to keep continuing to try to educate, and I think that's where the difference comes in, right? Is, Pakistan, we were banned for 8 years, right? So we missed out on a lot of players. We missed out on a lot of opportunities to develop, young talent. So right now we're playing catch up.
Mm,
Whereas the other countries have kind of had that year over year consistency and have been able to build and, kind of instill trust within the stakeholders, so the families and the girls, or sorry, the families of the girls. They've been able to kind of help build that trust over the years. So I think it's good. We have a starting point now, with Pakistan, and, again, I do believe that it's being built, and it will be built. But it's definitely gonna take time.
yeah, I completely understand that. Uh, but like looking ahead to uh like re- looking ahead to what you want to see for this generation of current footballers, right? What do you guys want to do, right? Like Leila Bandras, you, Mariam Mahmood, like what do you want to like represent essentially, and what needs to happen over the next few years for Pakistan to become a consistent contender in Asians women's football? Because I think you guys have qualified for the Asia Cup, right? Or was that the men's team? I completely forgot. That was the men's team, sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Neither.
Neither,
No one's
neither.
qualified.
No
No
one's.
one's qualified for Asia Cup. I wish.
Yeah,
Uh,
eh,
we're some years off from that, but I
yeah,
think, in terms of the women's team, like, we've spoken about it as a team and as a collective. Like, a near-term goal for us, for sure, is to try to reach a SAFF final, and inshallah win a SAFF final. So I think that is a very
for our viewers, what is a SAF final essentially? For
sorry, it's South Asia Football Federation Championship. So
Yeah.
it's where all the teams, the national teams from South Asia, so India, Pakistan, Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, Sri Lanka, and
So like
ourselves.
so about a good 10, 12 countries essentially.
I think seven, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah,
Yeah,
something.
seven
Yeah,
countries.
yeah,
Yeah, seven countries if Nepal doesn't stay banned. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, so yeah, I think for us as a team, it's definitely, can we target that title? And I believe it's a very realistic target given the talent that we have in our team.
yeah. So, but like I would presume, so like everyone wants to eventually, because like every time you start talking about sports in Pakistan, because they've seen Imran lift the championship in '92 and all of this, like they're always thinking about, oh, we've like you guys just like recently had that great FIFA series, right? But we had our first ever FIFA women's FIFA series. Where you also beat who is it? 8-0. Who did you
Turks and
guys?
Caicos.
Yeah,
Turks and
Turkish.
Caicos.
Yeah, like everyone goes. Like I believe we're where like you have to like I feel like you have to explain to the where we have to tell the public like it's a step by step process, and this is going to take decades to essentially for us to. We're moving in the right direction now, because it's going to take decades for us to reach that level, essentially.
Yeah. Everyone, like you said, people want to talk about World Cups
Uh,
and even Asia Cup. Like again, if we can continue to, stay on that technical roadmap and continue to develop, football in the country, again, we can definitely aspire to that, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done, in terms of coaches education, in terms of, talent identification strategies. Pakistan's a huge country with a huge population. Like, how are we making sure that, talent is getting scouted appropriately, right? In our country. So I think there's a lot of work that will be done, and it's going to happen, and it's just a matter of time. But I think we do need to be making sure that we're setting realistic targets
yeah,
for ourselves as a group. But also, again, there's nothing wrong with us, looking towards that North Star and saying, yeah, like we would all. Everyone would love to be in a World Cup, right? Everyone would love to be in the final round of Asia Cup. There's nothing wrong with having those aspirations, but what are the building blocks to get there, and what is a realistic timeline to get there? I think those are the questions that we need to be mindful of.
yeah. I mean, it's like it's not impossible. Like we just saw Cabo Verde, of course, in the men's World Cup, which is
Yeah.
which is a like a country of about 500,000, 600,000, get to the round of 32 and like take the eventual finalists in Argentina into extra time. And like as like our team, they also had a lot of expats, which helped their team because they wanted to represent
We need
the
to stop saying expats. It's Pakistanis. It does.
Pakistan.
So, for example, are you gonna? Okay, I have a question here. Are
Yeah,
you gonna call a player who goes and plays abroad? Do they
yeah,
become an expat? A
no,
Pakistani player. So now we have a lot of men's and women's
yeah,
players that will go and play
yeah,
abroad from Pakistan, born and raised in
yeah,
Pakistan, go play abroad in different countries. Are they expats now then?
of course not. Of course, like
So you know what?
I
So
can't.
again, Pakistanis, like yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, so I completely understand. I think you're just very annoyed by this, and you're very rightfully annoyed by
I'm
this.
so annoyed by it.
Yeah,
Really. It's
yeah.
and again, it's not you. Like I said,
No, no,
it's
no, no, God. I completely
like
understand. It's just like the overall media and just like the overall conversation about it has probably driven you crazy over all of this, right?
it's yeah, it's very
Uh,
it's like honestly, we just need to stop entertaining it because it's Pakistani.
yeah,
Like if you're a Pakistani player playing,
yeah,
whether you're playing in Pakistan, outside of Pakistan, doesn't matter.
yeah.
Does
Now,
not
fine.
matter.
Now, finally, right? Um, so of course, aside from that, from like the broader context of like eventually want to get there, what do you want to inspire in like this current generation of young women and girls who are watching you play now, right?
Ooh, good question. I think it would be, I know it might sound really cliche, but really like not to give up because again, I know in Pakistan there will be a lot of times that you'll be told no or that you cannot do it or you can't do something. I think something that, I loved growing up, and my mother was actually someone that really always encouraged me to like never stop trying. She's like, what's the worst that can happen? Um, Always ask your questions, always, challenge respectfully. Don't be scared to stand up for yourself. So I think with this newer generation, I think, I love that, we have some really big personalities in our team. And, I think I hope that it shows this, younger generation of girls that it's okay to be yourself. Um, you know, uh, be your authentic self, show up. Um, and really like don't take no for an answer. So if you love football and you want to keep playing, really try to find a solution, so that you can make sure that you're getting to do what you love. Because I know for me, like I'm super grateful. Like my job is to play football. Like that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think if we can continue to inspire young girls to be themselves and to continue to love the game and just want to get better every day. I think that's something that I've seen in a lot of the top teams that I've played in. um, I think the mentality of the girls has been, they just, no matter what they achieve, they really just want to get better every single day. So I think just having that mindset and that mentality and that attitude, I think is going to be really important.
Well, thank you very much for this interview. I had a lovely time. It was very informative. You are a and I wish the best for the you and the rest of the Pakistani for women's football team. Thank you very much. This has been Dugout.
Thanks, Mustafa.